How much? My client shouted over the phone after I told him he received a tax refund of over £10,000. But here's the kicker. He had almost given up forever seeing that money again. I'm an accounting professional who spent years helping creative businesses like you keep more of your hard-earned money, and now I'm going to tell you the story of how this client got such a massive refund that he almost gave up on. Would that apply in your situation? And most importantly, can you get some money back too? Imagine opening a letter from HMRC expecting another bill or bad news, but instead seeing a check with your name on it for £11,000. That's exactly what happened to my client, but the truth is he nearly missed out on every single penny of it. And if you're not careful, you might too. Let me explain why. You see, my client, a talented videographer, we'll call him Jake. He was doing what many of you are probably doing right now. Hustling hard to build your creative business, but not quite ready to go full-time yet, so he still had a part-time job for some extra cash. It's normal, many creative entrepreneurs start like this. He had spent countless hours, late nights and weekends into turning his passion into something profitable. But there was just one big problem. He wasn't making money. In fact, he was losing money. It's very hard and uncommon to have a profitable business in your first year of trading. You haven't yet built client trust, reputation, but then he also bought expensive gear, traveled to shoots and invested heavily in software. He had some clients coming in, but because of all the equipment he had bought before starting the business, he was still losing money. And this brings up a really useful rule that I want you to know about because it can save you some serious cash. Okay, so in your first year of business, you can claim expenses for equipment you bought up to 4 years in the past. Imagine digging through your drawers and discovering gift cards from 4 birthdays ago you forgot you had. Instead of throwing them away, you realize you can still use them today to get big discounts. The key rule is that it has to be connected to your business in some way. You can't buy like a massage chair, for example, and claim it's for business use. It's just not gonna happen and you're gonna get into trouble. Knowing these rules were one of the main reasons why my client managed to secure such a big refund, and you could too. Now, let's get back to the story. Jake was stressed and discouraged. He thought every pound lost was just part of the harsh reality of trying to build a business from scratch. After all, isn't losing money in the first year just normal? What if I told you he was about to learn something surprising, something he couldn't believe is possible? But here's where it gets crazy. He was actually on the verge of shutting down his side hustle completely, accepting his losses as permanent and moving on. Why? He thought it's not economical to run a business in this way. Yet, here's what Jake didn't know. The rules that HMRC has for business owners in his situation is something entirely different to what he thought. But here's the catch. Jake had only a short window of time to figure this out. But then he did something that all of you watching this video should do. He reached out to a professional accountant to help him claim the money he deserved, and that's where I come into the story. Now you're probably thinking, okay, great story about Jake, but does this actually apply to me? And the answer is, if you resonate with his story so far, it probably does. You see, because Jake worked a part-time job, which was another source of income, he could offset the money he lost from his business against the money he received from his day job. Okay, let's imagine this water represents his income. His employment income was pouring in steadily from the top, which fills the bucket pretty fast. But his business losses are like a small hole at the bottom, letting some water leak out. The more water it leaks, the less water remains in the bucket. And the less water in the bucket means less tax to pay. Yes, but when you work a normal PAYE job, the government takes your taxes automatically. And that's why you're eligible for a refund, because you have already paid too much tax. Now, here's where things took an unexpected turn. As we were preparing Jake's claim, we ran into a serious problem. Jake couldn't find receipts for most of his biggest purchases. Without those crucial receipts, our claim would be worthless. With a heavy heart, I explained to Jake that without proof, submitting this claim would be risky and likely pointless. Jake was devastated. All his hopes seemed to have gone away. With deep regret, I told him that there was nothing more I could do without those receipts. Jake, though frustrated, understood the risk and reluctantly agreed with me. He felt this was the end of it all. But then, a few days later, I woke up to an unexpected message from Jake. "You won't believe this," he read. "I found the receipts. They were on another hard drive I had completely forgotten about." I couldn't believe it. That was the best start of the day I could have hoped for. I was excited that we are back on track and we immediately picked up where we left off. As the stakes grew higher, only one question remained. Had Jake missed the deadline to claim his refund? Okay, at this point you're probably thinking, okay, Jake got a fantastic story, but does that apply in my situation? And this is where things get really interesting. You see, if Jake's story sounds relatable, working a part-time job, running a business on the side, making losses, but you didn't know about these rules, you might have already overpaid thousands in tax. But then, here's the good news. It might not be too late to claim that money back, and it's because of this. The overpayment relief lets you ask HMRC for a refund if you have paid too much tax, going back up to 4 years. You have to understand that these claims are reviewed on a case-by-case basis, so it's not 100% certain, but it doesn't hurt to try. Of course, things are way less complicated if you've never submitted a tax return before, or if it's within 12 months of your previous submission, because then it becomes very easy to just go back and amend the return. The point I'm trying to make is, even if you didn't claim this relief on time, it might still not be too late for you. To understand this claim better, imagine going through your old jackets and finding £500 you forgot about. Now imagine that pocket is HMRC holding your money, and they won't remind you it's there. You have to go claim it yourself. But here's the catch. You only have a limited window to act. Once those 4 years pass, that money is gone forever. The easiest ways to check if you're owed money is from the link in the description below. That way, you can get in touch with me directly and I'll help you figure out if you qualify. If you do, I'll help you submit your claim and get your money back. If you don't, well, you lose nothing because the consultation will be entirely free. Jake almost lost his refund because he didn't know about the rules. Now you do. The question is, will you take action before it's too late?